So today we're going to start working on an industrial style desk. Sometimes I get the question what an industrial style is, and it can mean something different to virtually anybody. But to me it means it has its roots in an industrial urban style. Industrial furniture would be found most typically in a loft, with the prototypical exposed brick wall and the plaster still stuck to it. Maybe there's some I-beams in the ceiling, wood beams, things like that. But it just has kind of a more rugged feel to it. I personally really like the style. So we are going to be using rail car flooring. You've probably seen this in bars and restaurants and things like that. It is taken off of the floors of semi-trucks and of train rail cars. It's made out of oak, very durable, and stands the test of time. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so we're on to the second step. We have already trimmed the boards down to the size that we would like, and now we're going to join them together. All right, so now let's get ready to glue this sucker up. I'm going to make sure that we have ample amount of glue, because we're going to take a brush and we're going to brush it in. Make sure that we have every square inch of this edge covered. So I apologize, guys. I got a little ahead of myself and went ahead and stained the top after the glue up and added a coat of dark colored epoxy to fill in some of those holes where the bead heads and other things like hooks and things like that could fall in. So I'm going to give you a little look here. So it really has a nice rich look to it. I like the natural, but you really can't beat this this stain here. It really adds just a nice look to it. As you can see, some of these holes, there's still a little bit of a divot, like in here, right here, where things can fall. So we're going to go ahead and add another coat of epoxy to this, and I'll walk you guys through that. So the epoxy is dried for the top of the desk, and now it's time to start working on the cabinet. We've already made some measurements, and I'm just going to get to cutting. So we've cut all the plywood down to the appropriate size. Now we just need to join it together. All right, so we're actually going to work on another part of the desk. It's actually going to be the leg on the left side, but it's actually not quite a leg, but you'll see later. So the cabinets have been made, and now it's time to stain them. But we want everything to go together. These are a few stains that we're going to be using. We're going to be using General Finishes Water-Based Black. We're going to put them all in separate corners here, put separate stains on there, and then compare them to our angle iron just to see which one works the best. Another thing to think about is we don't want it to perfectly match. One, because it never perfectly matches, and two, when you try to perfectly match it, it ends up looking forced and not right. So sometimes a contrast, using maybe something that matches the darks in here works better than trying to go with the brown. So that's what's going to be our strategy, and which is why I went with this one black here. We are going to use a General Finishes gel stain in Java. That's going to have a little more of a red tint to it. Another one we're going to do is Old Masters gel stain. This one's Spanish Oak. It's very dark. And then just to see in the event that maybe we're actually off in our thought process of going with the contrast, I doubt we are, but another stain that'll be a little darker, but it'll still match some of these colors. So I'm going to start putting these on the board here, and then we'll see what happens. So what's really interesting is, first of all, the Jacobine on the pine came out really yellow, which is a great example of why we do samples ahead of time, just to make sure that things are the way that we think they will be. So the General Finishes water-based black, I kind of like that one a little bit. It goes with the metal, but it deviates a little too far from the hues, the various hues that we have here in the top. The Java, it's darker, and I like that, but the red is just also deviating from the hues. In my opinion, the Spanish Oak is going to go the best with this. And what's great about gel stains that I really like, as opposed to the Jacobine, the oil, just the regular oil-based stain, you can't go over it and make it darker. It really doesn't do that very well. Whereas with the gel, it does it very well. So our staining of the cabinets is done. I think it turned out great. I told you guys that I would let you know what I was going to do with one of the legs, the leg side of the desk. There's a cabinet on one side, the leg on the other. So here it is from the side. If you look at the stain, it actually goes really well, especially when you throw in that angle iron right there. It's a great kind of halfway point and a great way to split the difference from a color perspective between the trim that we're going to be adding and the dark colors in the wood here. So here's what I did for the front of the leg that'll be facing outward. I inset some of the rail car flooring into that. Now this edging isn't going to be showing it actually, and again, remember this here is the unfinished side, but I wanted to get an idea, kind of like the board that I tested the stains on, you know, what the different colors were, you know, as they applied more of the darkening solution. So if you look right there, that actually is going to turn out really well, really well. So in addition to the metal trim that we put around the desktop, we also did some metal trim for the cabinets as well, both on the front with angle iron and the back with flat bar. We sanded most of the scale off of that, so now what we can do is we can put on the metal blackener and see, see what kind of impact that has on that. So. All right, so we have applied the blackening agent to the steel. We have put the steel on the frame of the desk, and it really turned out great. And this is such a crucial part of the project because this is what really gives it that industrial feel. So I want to give you a look here so you can see, and hopefully you'll like it as much as I do. So we've done almost everything. The only thing we have left is the drawers. Now these right here have already been assembled and pre-drilled, but I want you to see the dovetails here. Super important that whenever you get a piece of furniture that has drawers, that
those drawers are dovetailed because it really adds to the strength of the drawer. You know, you could drop it directly on the corner, its weakest point, and nothing's going to happen to it. You know, our drawers come, you know, in any wood species. These are beech. I liked beech because I really wanted it to juxtapose against the darkness of the stained oak rail car. Yeah, so these are pre-drilled for the drawer slides, and just need to drill those in here. And then we need to put the drawer front on the front, and we will be ready for business. So we finished drilling the drawer front in, and let's just go ahead and put it in the desk and see if it fits. It may require a little tweaking afterwards, but hopefully it'll fit right off the bat. All right, it fits. That's perfect. Let me give you a look.